Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hari ini saya bersama dengan Ustazah Yamama. Dan Ustazah Yamama ni dah duduk dekat Malaysia how many years?
Already 10 years.
10
Alhamdulillah.
tahun.
Yeah.
And Masya Allah, Allah berikan Ustazah Yamama pengalaman untuk mengajar rakyat kita, rakyat Malaysia, orang Melayu ni belajar Al-Quran. Alhamdulillah 10 tahun pengalaman yang banyak juga kan, Masya Allah. Ustazah ni dah biasa sebenarnya dengan mengajar orang-orang Melayu yang baik, yang lembut, yang suka semangat nak belajar Al-Quran.
Yes, correct.
Jadi welcome Ustazah.
Hello, Sahlan. Thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, today when I said to Ustazah Yamama, Ustazah, I want you to help me learn Quran and also the other sisters out there who love to learn Quran. Number one, Ustazah, why do we have to learn the correct way? I mean, like maybe some sisters might think that I can already read and I have khatam the Quran. Why do I need to keep on learning to say the correct pronunciation, making the right tajweed? Why?
First of all, a human being, subhanallah, loves to be perfect. Okay, if I ask you, would you go for 1 million ringgit or for 10 ringgit? Which one are you gonna choose?
1 million?
Of course, that's normal. That's in dunya. That should be also for the amal and for the iman and for also reciting Al-Quran. You should try to be better, okay? Plus, we believe as a Muslim that we in Akhirah gonna recite that in front of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So, يقال لقارئ القرآن اقرأ وارقى ورتل كما كنت ترتل في الدنيا. Of course, Personally, I would really read correctly in front of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam يوم القيامة. Of course, in dunya we don't take the little like goals. We always go for the big goals. Of course, we want that for our akhirah. Plus, I really want to recite as was what Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was reciting. So my goal is always the perfect. That's why we have to go for the perfect recitation, inshallah. That's indeed the idea of the sanad, indeed. This is the raw idea of sanad. Is this person has recite on his sheikh and his sheikh on his sheikh, going like a chain of people, continuously until Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, each one of them testifying that the previous person is reciting Al-Quran exactly how Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam recites. And that's the goal of everyone, to be like a little bit. We cannot be him, so we can be a little bit part of his recitation at least.
Masya Allah. So like what Ustazah sebut tadi tu, kenapa kita nak kena selalu perbaiki belajar Al-Quran? Ultimately kita nak belajar Al-Quran macam Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Sebab tu penting kalau guru yang mengajar kita tu ada sanad. Maknanya ada rantaian, dia belajar daripada guru dia kepada guru dia yang bersambung kepada Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Cuba kita bayangkan kan, maknanya kita baca Al-Quran ni seperti mana yang Nabi terima dan Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam baca. I think that is like the main aim. Like even for me, sometimes it's hard, right? Learning tajweed, making mistakes, being corrected again and again. But I remind myself like this is an expensive thing, and the effort is there because I want to read like the
القرآن وهو يتتعتع فيه وهو عليه شاق له أجران. My experience with Malay, every foreigner, non-Arab person is struggling to recite Al-Quran and really hard, going the word or the ayah once, twice, 3 times. Sometimes they cry. I want to be perfect. I want to recite Al-Quran like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but I'm still struggling, still on the way. But I always remind them, I get 1 pahala for teaching you. I get only 1 hasana for teaching you. But you got twice. Not me. Not I said that. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that. وَمَنْ يَقْرَأُ الْقُرْآنَ وَهُوَ يَتَتَعْتَعُ فِيهِ. Yatata'a means reciting and going in and like up and down. Okay. وَهُوَ عَلَيْهِ شَاقٌ. It's difficult. Okay. لَهُ أَجْران. So the teacher who is already good got 1 pahala. You got twice. I think that's significant, right?
Yes, I want pahala. We all need extra pahala.
Yeah, exactly, everyone.
MashaAllah. So Ustazah, let's go through the common things that you hear from your students.
Yes.
Okay. What is the number one thing that you commonly hear, the mistakes, I would say, or biasalah kita orang Melayu ni, kita bukan lidah Arab. We're not Arabs.
Yeah.
And we are pleasant in our way of speaking. And I would say that Malays, they are very soft and gentle.
Yes, correct.
So Arab, the Quran have a lot of letters sometimes. No, the Arab,
Strong.
the heavy letters and all. And we
Exactly.
don't have that.
Yeah.
So unless you're angry or something, Astaghfirullah. But then, like, can you help us, guide us, the common mistakes that we make?
The most common,
Mm-mm.
and let me say this is 99%, if not 100%, is monchong.
Monchong.
Okay.
Monchong.
Okay, monchong means pronouncing every tibal or thick letter with a mouth in front, like dhamma. Okay.
Like pouting.
Yeah,
like that.
so, and that unfortunately goes through the language itself. So
Mhm.
you don't say salah like we say, okay? Not salah, you say sola. You don't say, for example, salatul zuhur, zuhur. You say zuhur, and that go monchong for all the tibal letters. That is really the most common mistake I am facing with Malaysian sisters, with all love to all of them. So must remember, especially if you have the letter with fatha or kasra, you cannot monchong, because now you are putting all the harakah in a blender and turn it on. You are putting a fatha with a dhamma. So say so, which is sa, and you monchong, then it's a sound of dhamma. Altogether will sound so. Since I know the word, I will assume it's a sa, but the pronunciation is totally wrong.
Yeah.
So if I'm saying وَأْمُرْ أَهْلَكَ بِالصَّلَاةِ, so I tell my students, Sinyom, you are studying you are studying with Ustazah Yamama, so Sinyom, be happy. So bias, you cannot say bisolati, cannot. Okay, so this is one of the really very common mistakes. Try whenever to correct this mistake. Try whenever to smile while you are reciting. So at least when you pronounce fatha and kasra, you are not gonna mix it with dhamma. So no, sa. Indeed, the mouth should be biasa, but I want you to add in the beginning to be extreme. Smile, okay? Sinyom. So a little by a little, your mouth can go biasa, not so. Okay, so at start you will say sa. Then it goes smaller to be biasa, sa. Okay, I'm taking letter sad as an example, but that in sister recitation it goes for ta, va, for all the tibal kha, gha, all of them you monchong. So rule number 1 says tak monchong, okay?
Tak monchong when it's tebal.
Exactly.
So how do we achieve that tebal sound? Because I think like what we are doing is because I want to make it sound tebal. Tu huruf tu kena tebal.
Yeah.
So kita macam solat, right?
Exactly.
But how do you make it? Maybe salah. How do we?
Indeed.
Where is it? Is it in the tongue?
Indeed, I always tell. Sorry for my broken Malay, okay?
No,
but I'm using just few words. Tebal guna lidah, bukan mulut.
Tebal guna lidah,
bukan mulut. Don't say so. It's not here. The isti'la coming from the tongue itself. The tongue, the sifatul isti'la, which is later on translated to tebal, it's the tongue will be high. Isti'la, like we say ali and munkhafid. We have ali. Okay? The ali means up.
Tinggi, up.
Atas. So the tongue should go up. Okay, so the sound will be sa. Sa. My mouth is not related. Here is not the makhraj. Makhraj is inside. So tebal, using your tongue, not losing your lips. Don't so, not to, not vo, not ho, not ho. It's inside.
Yes.
So at least eliminate the effect of your lips. Sometimes I ask the sisters to hold their lips like this. Don't move them. Okay. So. This is just a practice. Okay, for beginners. So. So to, same. The same. Okay. Don't eliminate. And always use the tebal using your tongue. Your tongue should be high from inside. Okay, to, vo, ro, kho, not the other way around. Okay, so this is the most common mistake.
Also, Ustazah, inshallah, let's say now we're gonna work on that, because I remember first time I read to a Syrian Ustazah before your mother. That's the first thing she corrected was the Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. She said, this is common. So we all said Birrahmanirrahim, because we're trying to make the ra sound very thick.
Yeah.
Then until it takes practice. So you all don't worry, memang you akan berlatih. Smile. Okay, so what Ustazah is saying is not that you have to actually smile, but bila you consciously tell yourself, aku nak senyum, and say the letter, you are training yourself to not muncungkan mulut bila nak tebalkan huruf tu.
One more, like for example, we have cutting the recitation. Cutting the recitation means that every 2 or 3 hours you make a stop. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Cannot. Unfortunately, this is very common, especially in school. And that goes also when they grow up, they take this recitation with them. And that mistake goes along with another mistake, which is making the med wrong. The long one, I make it short, not me, they, with all love and respect, they make the short one long or the long one short. So, just copying my kids, they will say Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Yes.
Or Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. You cannot take a nafas while you are reciting. You cannot pause, and also you cannot manipulate how many haraka you are reciting. 2, you have to be 2. 4 or 5, you have to be 4 or 5. 6, you have to be 6. You have to commit to how many harakat we have to recite. So Rahman takes 2 harakat only from you, which usually I make it easy on the Malaysian beloved people. It's just 2 ticks. Ma, that's all. No need for ma, cannot. Okay, not Bismillah, cannot. Just 2 ticks. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. That's all. Okay, so those 3 mistakes usually they come together. Cutting the recitation and pausing every 2 or 3 letters, especially after mati letters. Okay, bis, I hold. Okay, instead of making my recitation fluent and going like Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I go Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, so this is 3 mistakes. 1, the cutting the recitation. 2, making short mad long. 3rd one is like opposite, the other way around, making the long mad short. For example, we have mad lazim kalimi, whether muthaqal or mukhaffaf. It's 6 harakat. Most likely they will do 3 or 4. Okay, for example, wasaffati saffa, they will do only 2, 3. Saffati, end of the story. Cannot. So this is, if we want to recite like what Prophet Muhammad recite, we have to really follow ilzam gharzahu innahu Rasulullah. Follow every step. Ilzam gharzahu innahu Rasulullah. So he recite, this one is long, I follow. This one short, I follow. I cannot just invent something out of myself, right? So this, the very second, very common mistake. Make your recitation, please, sisters, make your recitation fluent. Don't make like cuts and pauses while you are reciting, and also give each letter, this is my line, all sisters I teach, they know, give each letter what it deserve. It deserve long, I give long. It deserve short, I give short. Okay.
So, Masya Allah, apa yang Ustazah kata tu, bila kita, another comment yang biasa membuat, I think ni berkaitan dengan macam mana kita belajar Quran jugalah kot, yang bila kita diajarkan Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So kadang kita tend to the habit macam potong-potong. Dia macam tak smooth. Sepatutnya macam mengalir smooth yang kita baca tu. Tapi dia macam there is that cutting thing that you said. Bis. And then satu lagi Ustazah kata dalam satu perkataan tu kita tak boleh tarik nafas. So you cannot like stop and take a breath in one word. No, you have to finish in one breath.
Yeah.
Right. So itu kesalahan.
Sorry to cut you,
Yeah, sure.
but there is a particular ilmu called al-waqf wal-ibtida. We have PhD thesis about waqf and ibtida, where you can waqf and where you can ibtida.
Wow.
You cannot just stop and say, okay, here I'm stopping taking nafas. Then you cannot. Have to be ruled. Al-Quran is how can I say, is a control recitation, even where you stop, where you continue. You cannot breathe at the middle of the word. There is waqaf signs you cannot ignore. You cannot, for example, after qala yaquluna qultum, any verb of saying, you cannot just stop there and continue. For example, they say وقالت اليهود والنصارى نحن أبناء الله وأحباؤه. Jew and Christian said, we are the sons of Allah or the offspring of Allah, and we are the beloved ones. Imagine, Atiya, if we can just say, وقالت اليهود والنصارى, I take nafas, then I say, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, نحن أبناء الله وأحباؤه. Or وقالت اليهود يد الله مغلولة. Can you just say وقالت اليهود, then stop and take nafas, then start astaghfirullah, يد الله مغلولة, astaghfirullah. Now you are taking this mistake to another limit, to another level, you know. Now you are talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself from Al-Quran, but in a wrong way. Same like يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. You cannot say لا تقربوا الصلاة, don't salah, okay? Jangan, you cannot salah. I stop here, لا تقربوا الصلاة. Now I want to take nafas, end of the story. Cannot. There is a condition. If you are drunk, you cannot pray. لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى. So you cannot just say يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة. Cannot salah.
So that means subhanallah, bila kita salah berhenti, when wrong stop, it changes the whole context. And na'udzubillah, which what we don't want is to say things that is berdosa, sinful things that we are saying about Allah and ourselves and other things, subhanallah. And another thing yang Ustazah sebut tu, mad. Panjang pendek kita ni banyak kita hentam je. Saya pun dulu macam tu. I was like that before. I didn't understand the rules. So I don't know when it's like truly long or not long. So you tend to just make everything like 2 and you think maybe this is like a bit longer. So like you said, something just put 3 or 4. Just doing it blindly. So this is another thing yang I think kita kena tahu yang bila kita baca Al-Quran, it's a book. It's an ibadah kan. So bila kita nak buat tu kan ada SOP dia. So macam ni like salah, when we pray, berapa rakaat, rokok dulu, then sujud. You cannot like, I think I want to do sujud now, I think I want to do rokok. You can't. So there is a step-by-step process that we need to actually follow.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay, so any other things that you tend to make?
Okay, like this is also common, the wrong makhraj. The ain, the kha, the ghain, the ra, ratbal especially. Those, because of the bod, for example, the letters that they are valid in Arabic but not valid in English or Bahasa Melayu. Always we are struggling with those letters. So really this need more than one session with you, Dr. Atiya, to of course talk about makhraj. But of course to highlight that the most common mistake among all this group, the letters that they are in Arabic but not in Bahasa Melayu or in English, Ain and Ra. Okay, so most likely the sister, even if she can pronounce Ain and Ra correctly, but she will stop after the Ain. For example, ta'malun, turhamun. Okay, she can pronounce the letter, but she still cannot make it like
slightly
the sifatu tawassut indeed. Okay, this is very specific and particular, the sifatu tawassut, to just make the letter flow until the end. Ta'malun, turhamun. Maybe we can add this to the stopping after each mati letter, but this is a little bit different because they do to all the letters that they don't know. The kha, the ghain, the dad. Okay. Also, we have another mistake, which is qalqalah, the mati letters. Like sometimes instead of they say turhamun, which is wrong already, they say turhamun. This is another thing.
As if there is a fatha on the ra.
No, as they are adding qalqalah.
Oh, qalqala, like turham.
Okay, let's. Sorry, I'm taking from your
It's okay,
time,
no,
but
no, it's okay.
for example, what is qalqala? Mainly to make it easy on the beloved Malay sisters, qalqala is bouncing. Okay, the tongue will hit the makhraj and bounce off. Okay, so there's particular letters which are qutbu jadin, 5 letters, qutubu jadin, 5 letters. They are qalqala letter. I cannot add from myself and say ra, for example, and ain. Ta'lamun, turahamun, cannot. So the letter must be like stable, taking a long time, not long, of course, but longer than what my beloved sisters in Malaysia they do. The turo or tur, both are wrong. So it's sometimes I tell the beloved Malaysian sisters, just consider you are driving, okay? If you hit the brakes at once, you will stop like tur. Okay? And if you hit the brakes but at once, but the car is still moving, it's the tur. Okay? What I need is just a slightly and smooth stop, hitting the brakes smoothly. So you say turhamun.
Turhamun.
No, tamonchong, don't say tur. Okay, go back.
Turhamun.
Exactly. So, and also, for example, cannot ta'malun. Same like choking sound. Okay, same like choking sound.
We want that sound. We want to make it like
exactly.
ta'malun.
Like, okay, to make it easy also, the letters should follow each other smoothly like a robe of silk. It's falling, you know, like a waterfall. No cuttings, no humps, no jumps, no sudden stops. It's just fluent. This is how we want our recitation to be like.
Huruf tu bukan qalqalah. So qalqalah ni macam benda yang kita sebut dia panggil bounce kan. So qa, qa, ba, jim and dal. Okay, ini huruf yang biasa kita qalqalah. Tapi biasanya kita ambil kesilapan huruf ain and ra.
Sometimes kha and ghain.
Sometimes kha and ain, ghain. And kita terlajakkan dia bila dia dekat bahasa dekat mati. Can you explain a bit like what is makhraj? When we hear the word makhraj, I didn't understand before, you know, like the exit of the sound. I don't understand what was that. But maybe you can explain to. Now I understand, but I think a lot of people don't understand what is makhraj.
Makhraj, the exact translation is exit. Okay, so
tempat
like
keluar.
Yeah, it's like you write keluar everywhere you want to go out. It's keluar. It's where the letter comes out. And this is something really, sorry to say that, but it takes a lot of thinking from people, more than it really deserves. Okay, where's the makhraj? Where's the makhraj? Okay, sometimes if I ask you where's the makhraj of the meme, even a baby can pronounce meme. Okay, makhraj mainly is how do you pronounce the letter and from where. Very simple. No need to really think about it very much unless the letter is not, you are not familiar with the letter. Like ghain, makhraj is from here. That's why I tell Malaysian, I don't really make them struggle with from the upper side of whatever. No, at least if while I'm teaching, a sister came to me and she cannot pronounce ghain or kha, I will say it's here and it's the sound of gaggling. Oh, you do that all the time. No need to think, am I hitting the makhraj? No need. So it's the huruf are sounds we do normally. Okay, for example, letter kha. Okay, what is the makhraj of letter kha? It's a snoring sound. Everyone snores. Most of us snores. So just, it's the snoring sound.
Okay.
It's easier than keeping the sister who is trying really with love and appreciation to her effort, telling her where exactly to put her tongue. Just make it easy on her. You know the sound of snoring? Snoring, how do you snore? So even in my class, my students, the sisters that they recite with me, they know. I would say, she will recognize immediately that she has to pronounce ha correctly. Ghain, I will say gaggle, gaggle. You do that. When you gaggle, what is the sound you do? You're not gonna say ah. When you gaggle, you will say oh. So it's the gaggle sound. So makhraj, by definition, is where do you pronounce the letter from? But to me, for non-Arab, it's not really very important to know which letter comes from which area. Definitely. And unless, of course, you are hitting the sanad, of course, because you will teach people, so the theoretical background is important to you. But for beginners, I'm not going to make it complicated on them and hit them with so many informations they cannot really recognize. Okay, so I will go that way, as I said. Normal sounds, turning normal sounds into Arabic letter.
Yes. Last one letter, I think is something that very common, which I also just knew how to pronounce it correctly after learning, is wa.
Okay.
Because I think I know we were taught to say wa, like thicken the z sound. But actually it's
thicken the the.
Actually it's thicken the, just at least for this video, if anyone watches it, the end, just remember that wa is actually thickening of the, not za. Because sometimes you zalim.
Okay.
Zalimin.
Indeed, I also, there are some lines I always repeat to make them like, a rule in my sisters recite. There's 3 huruf, take your tongue out. Va, the, tha. Those 3 huruf will take your tongue out. So sometimes to show the sister, especially online, I will really take my tongue out. It's wrong, but to show her, at least take your tongue out a little bit. Va, the, and tha. Zal and va, they are the, one is the nipis of the other. Okay, so the, and if you, as we talk about isti'la at the beginning, you make your tongue high from the back. So the, keep your tongue as it is. The, and from the back, make your tongue go high. So wa, the, wa. It's even in sifat al-huruf, if we talk about them later on, inshallah. This is the only difference between those 2 letters. This one is nipis and this one is tabal. That's it.
So I hope, inshallah, one very important thing, maybe you can practice it personally, is the and wa. Because I think that is something that I was like, Ya Allah, that is how you pronounce va. I never knew that. Because I was taught differently.
We still have a lot to talk about, indeed, in letter bad.
Yes.
The iqlab, the ikhfa, which I always struggle, but inshallah, see you later.
Inshallah harap video ni membantu anda semua untuk perbaiki bacaan dan bersemangat untuk sentiasa perbaiki bacaan. Semoga bacaan kita seperti Rasulullah SAW. Thank you, Ustazah.
Welcome, ahlan wa sahlan. Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.